Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different, almost like real-time information archaeology.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, our mission basically is to peel back the layers on a stack of fascinating sources. We're looking at the top global headlines from just the last 12 hours or so, Tuesday, July 29, 2025.
Oh,
And it's not just about, what happened. We want to go deeper, find those hidden nuggets of knowledge, those surprising links that tell the bigger story.
absolutely, because you see these headlines flash past, right?
Yeah.
But connecting them, seeing how seemingly separate events actually weave together,
Yeah,
that gives you a much richer picture of what's really going on.
exactly.
And we've got quite a range today, everything from huge economic deals, reshaping markets, to some really critical humanitarian warnings.
Yes.
Serious stuff.
Definitely. So let's dive right in. First layer, global economic shifts. Big news just breaking is this landmark US-EU trade deal. It's finally settled.
After a lot of back and forth.
A lot. Key terms seem pretty significant. EU imports, set at 15% tariffs. That's actually half the earlier threat, which is interesting.
Hmm.
And paired with that, a massive $600 billion in EU investment pledges heading to the US.
Wow, okay, that's substantial.
Unsurprisingly, markets jumped right away on the news, a real surge.
Right, but what's fascinating there, or maybe revealing, is what happened next.
Go on.
Well, despite that initial pop, Euro investors actually got pretty cautious pretty quickly.
Oh, really? Why?
The concern, it seems, was that the deal might be weighted a bit too much in favor of the U.S.
Ah.
Yeah, and that it could potentially limit the EU's own growth prospects down the line. So the euro actually started to struggle a bit.
So the headline doesn't tell the full story, does it?
Rarely does.
Yeah.
Especially with market sentiment. It's nuanced.
That really is where the deeper understanding lies. And speaking of trade fronts, while the US and EU were ironing things out, talks also resumed between the US and China.
Ah, yes, in Stockholm this time.
Exactly. And the immediate goal there, it's about extending the current tariff truce. They're aiming for another 90 days.
Which is critical, right, to stop those tariffs snapping back.
Absolutely critical. It prevents tariffs potentially jumping back into triple digits,
Right.
Over 100%, which could happen before that August 12 deadline hits. Keeps things paused. For now, at least.
And this all ties into the broader impact of, well, geopolitical decisions on the economy, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, look at the expanded EU measures targeting Russian oil. These have really started to disrupt global diesel flows.
Okay, I've seen headlines on that. What's the direct effect?
It's pushing prices higher. Diesel inventories were already tight, globally speaking, so restricting flows from Russia just squeezes the market further.
Which means higher costs for, well, pretty much everything that moves.
Exactly. Transport, industry, agriculture. It's a clear example of these policy ripples spreading far beyond the initial target. Hits everyone's energy costs.
It's amazing, though, how in the midst of all this volatility, some players actually, well, thrive.
You mean like finding opportunity in the chaos?
Precisely. Look at Barclays. They just reported a huge profit jump, up 23% to £5.2 billion in the first half of the year.
Wow. And what's driving that?
Their trading division specifically, they benefited from the trading opportunities created by all this elevated tariff volatility.
Makes sense. Financial arbitrage, basically. When things are uncertain, exchange rates are fluctuating, tariffs are up in the air.
Yeah.
Banks like Barclays, with big trading operations, can capitalize. They facilitate trades, manage risk for businesses dealing with that uncertainty, and that activity spikes. More fees, more trading income.
So they're kind of making the market work even when it's turbulent.
In a way, yes. They provide liquidity and risk management and profit from the churn. It's a classic example.
Okay, so as we dig through these economic layers, it's pretty clear the tremors often lead us to some deeper, maybe more somber places.
Unfortunately, yes. The connections between finance, politics, and conflict are often stark.
Which brings us squarely into the geopolitical landscape. And this is tough news. A major Russian drone strike on Kyiv overnight.
Yes, I saw the reports. Grim numbers.
Over 320 drones, apparently. Hitting multiple regions, reports say 8 civilians injured, including a toddler. Just causing massive disruption in the capital.
And if you connect that outwards, events like these obviously fuel broader global instability. It's not just a regional tragedy.
What do you mean?
Well, look at Singapore. Their Home Affairs Ministry just put out a warning. They're saying that terrorism risk remains high there.
Okay. Related to Ukraine.
Indirectly. They specifically cited ongoing global instability, like the war in Ukraine, and the spread of radical online narratives that exploit these conflicts. It shows how anxieties ripple outwards, how even distant conflicts raise security concerns elsewhere.
That interconnectedness again.
Yeah.
And the human cost.
Hmm.
It's just staggering sometimes. This next piece of information is, well, it's profoundly sobering.
What is it?
The Global Hunger Monitor, they've issued an absolutely dire warning. Gaza is facing imminent famine.
Oh, no. That's been feared for a while.
Apparently, food deficits are deepening significantly, and crucially, aid remains severely restricted. Getting help in is still incredibly difficult.
And that just highlights the terrible link between conflict, access, and basic human survival. When aid is restricted, whether deliberately or just as a consequence of the fighting,
Yeah.
it pushes already critical situations over the edge into full-blown humanitarian crises like this potential famine. It's just tragic. A direct impact of policy and war on the most vulnerable.
It's hard to pivot from that, but the world keeps turning. Let's shift focus maybe to innovation and its local impact.
Okay.
On the business and tech front, some massive deals are happening. Tesla and Samsung, they've just confirmed a $16.5 billion deal.
$16.5 billion for what?
AI chips, specifically the next-gen AI 6 chip production. They're building a whole new a fabrication plant in Texas for it.
A huge investment. And Samsung shares.
Jumped over 6% on the news, predictably. It just shows the sheer scale of these modern tech partnerships.
Absolutely. And deals like that, these high-value, high-tech manufacturing projects, they aren't just about the money changing hands today. They're strategic.
Strategic how?
For national economies, for technological leadership globally. It's about who controls the future of computing, of AI. These are big geopolitical chess pieces, too.
That's a good point. Okay, and finally, just to round out this 12-hour snapshot, something much more local and tragically immediate, a reminder of personal impacts amidst these global tides.
Boy.
In Bangkok,
Yeah.
a market shooting. A gunman apparently killed 5 security guards before killing himself.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. Authorities are still trying to figure out the motive, obviously, and they're already weighing the potential fallout for tourism, which is so vital there.
It's just such a stark reminder, isn't it? While we're talking about global trends and billions of dollars, these individual tragedies unfold, and they become part of that same complex picture of our world.
So, quite a whirlwind in just 12 hours. Look at the range. Global trade deals, devastating drone strikes, tech breakthroughs worth billions, famine warnings, local violence.
It's incredible, really, how much happens, how interconnected it all is.
Which I guess leads to the big question, right?
Which is,
Well, what does this all mean? How do these seemingly separate events actually influence each other? What can you, our listeners, see when you start connecting these dots?
that's the core of it, isn't it? Every headline is like a thread. And our deep dive today was about trying to trace just a few of those threads in this huge, complex tapestry.
Absolutely. And as you think about all this information, maybe here's a final thought to leave you with.
Go ahead.
We saw the immediate market reactions to the US-EU deal, right?
Right.
The jump, then the caution. So thinking longer term, what might be the unseen consequences of today's headlines? The things we won't fully grasp for months, maybe even years.
That's a powerful question. The ripple effects that haven't surfaced yet.
Exactly. Something to keep pondering. We definitely encourage you to continue your own deep dives into the world's complexities,